Lost track of time. What am I doing? God, I hate when I lose track of time. Broadcasting live from beautiful 30-degree downtown Cleveland. It's station WDWL TV, the home of not one, but 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I am your host, the Grumpy Old Man, and we have another appearance by the Grumpy Jackalope, whose light is a little too bright. You don't deserve that much light. There. Still too bright, but. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, and the show's brought by this guy. What the hell are you? Oh, yeah, the Grumpy Vulture. I was attempting to download an X-ray, and for some reason, I couldn't get it to download. So hopefully tomorrow, we will have this X-ray that I attempted to download. Because there was a little item that kind of got glossed over in the news. And the item is Lindsey Vonn reveals amputation was in play after her crash at the Olympics. Yeah. She was about that close to having that leg amputated. And the reason I found out, my doctor gave me the website with a lot of the information, and it had the X-ray, but I couldn't get the X-ray. Holy shit, you take a look at that X-ray. Oh, yo, 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 yo. That is scary. And I can't figure out why it wouldn't download, because I wanted to put it in the thumbnail. I have never seen so much hardware, bolts, screws, plates. Unbelievable. And she's still not done. And the article, which they kind of glossed over, I guess because it is a little stomach turning. And thank God that basically they were able to airlift her off that mountain within a quick amount of time, get her into an ambulance, and the ambulance get to the hospital and get her into the emergency room, because what she was suffering from, and after they took the X-ray, she was immediately taken into surgery, and it's called muscle contracture. And the way my doctor explained it is that due to the shock of all the breaks in that leg, because she not only broke both bones in the leg, she broke her ankle. And that whole leg went into shock instantly. And what happens in some instances, like what happened to her, the muscle literally contracts to the point where the whole leg goes stiff, and then it cuts off blood circulation. And literally, the leg starts to die. And what they did, right after x-ray, and they saw how bad the damage was, they rushed her into surgery, and due to this contracture, they literally filleted her leg wide open. That was the only way they could alleviate that contracting of that muscle. So, in layman's terms, they opened her up like a fish. The orthopedic surgeons did a temporary setting. And then all they did was pack that with gauze, wrapped her up, and they watched her overnight. And when the swelling finally subsided, they were able to go in and start reassembling the bones, not only in her leg, but in her ankle, which took multiple surgeries in Italy. And basically, she has the Italian doctors to thank for not having her leg amputated, because it was that serious. And they kind of glossed over it in the news. She was like several hours away from losing that leg. After the doctor literally filleted her all the way to the bone and laid that leg wide open, had those muscles not released, she lost the leg. And she still has several surgeries in the United States. She's not out of surgery land for a long time. And the news really kind of dropped the ball. It's sad. Something this serious. And I don't remember any news facility, whether it be TV, internet, print. I don't remember reading anything as to the seriousness of that leg. I mean, take a look at the x-ray. Holy shit. It looks like somebody took a bunch of screws and hardware and just poured it in there. There, done. Like they dumped a box of surgical shit in there. There. All right, I'll tell you what, Ron, if you don't have the stomach for it, mute. Because there are other people that would probably like to hear this, because the news dropped the ball on it. I know you got a stomach of about a 6-year-old little girl, so if you can't take it, mute. Don't listen. I'll give you a signal when I'm done. Here is somebody, and I'll tell you what, at 41, she had retired. She'd come out of retirement. She worked her way back up to get on the Olympic team. She was skiing with a torn ACL to begin with. And man, I've seen some broken bones in my life, and I've seen X-rays of repairs. Jesus Christ, there's got to be 8 plates and 50 screws, if not more. And that's just the leg. They didn't even show the X-ray of the ankle. And how the news could gloss over this. I mean, all the news kept saying, well, she had another surgery. She had another surgery. She's doing all right. She's in ICU. And it was interesting because when I was at my, pain management doctor today, he asked me, he said, you watch the Olympics? And I went, yeah, I like the Winter Olympics a lot. Way better than the summer. And he said, do you see Lindsey Vonn? I went, oh, God, yeah, I was watching that live. And he said, did you see how serious it was? And I was like, not really. He writes it down here. Go to this website when you get home. I went to the website and was, holy yatchafuck. She put a post up on, I don't know, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. I'm bionic now. Yeah. She's got more metal in her than a goddamn junkyard. Holy Christ. Okay, Ron, you can unmute. Here's to you, Kathy. God, that shit don't. Oh, and that's the generic stuff. Oh, God. Oh, man, that's worse than the ocean spray. Jesus. Whoa. I thought the unsweetened ocean spray was bad. Oh. Wee. I've been watching another judge. And, I really like Judge O'Donnell out of Lake County. I found one that is almost as good. And he's out of Warren County, Ohio. And I don't know how he pronounces his last name. It's Judge either Timothy Tepp or Timothy Tepe. It's Tepe. So I don't know if he pronounces it Tep or if he pronounces it Tepe. Whoa, he don't. You talk about another judge that don't take no shit. Although he had a case today. And usually he doesn't swear like O'Donnell. O'Donnell, he just, whatever comes out of his mouth. This guy today, you have, watching court cases, you have heard every excuse under the sun. I heard one today that really took the cake. This guy was up on aggravated stalking. Can't get much worse than that. You have stalking, then you have aggravated stalking. He blamed his constant stalking of his ex-girlfriend on, wait for it, eczema. Eczema. He said his eczema outbreaks made him stalk his ex-girlfriend. That's a first. Eczema. Now, I've had eczema for years. It hasn't made me want to stalk anybody at all. But this guy, every time he had an eczema outbreak, he stalked his ex-girlfriend. And Judge Coffe just said, bullshit. And the guy was like, whoa. And on top of it, he turned down a plea deal. Now, the plea deal was for 4 months in jail. 4 months. Turned it down. Judge Coffe gave him 24. And the kid left the courtroom crying. He said, I ain't taking 4 months in jail. Judge Coffe said, well, I'll do you one better. I sentence you to 24 months. I have heard people use every excuse under the sun. This is the first time I ever heard somebody say, every time I have an eczema outbreak, I just have to stalk my girlfriend. Ex. But the look, I'll tell you what. When Judge Coffe said 24 months, that guy's eyes got like 2 fucking saucers. He just went, and then he started to cry. 24 years old, started to cry as they led him away. I guess the eczema defense didn't work too well. Where did he come up with that? I realized he had to use something. You know, he couldn't use, every time I smell that perfume that she used to wear, that might have worked. Or every time I see a blue Hyundai SUV drive by, that might have worked. An eczema outbreak? I guess if I ever do a crime, I've got a possible reason for it. Gee, Your Honor, I'm sorry I stole that brand new Rolls Royce. I was having an eczema outbreak, and it just made me do it. Good excuse, sir. Case dismissed. No, that wouldn't be my luck. I couldn't believe he actually had a straight face when he said it. He stood right there and said, Judge, every time I have an eczema outbreak, I can't help myself. Didn't work. Maybe he'll try it on appeal. Although I don't see the appeals court buying that excuse either. You know, I've heard every crazy excuse for people doing a crime. You know, there was one, a guy stole, I don't know, 50 books from a bookstore. And when the judge asked him why the hell he did it, you know, he was like, I liked the smell of the glue in the binding. The guy liked to sniff the glue in the book binding. So he stole 50 books. I thought that was a weird one. Yeah, Kathy, with a straight face. I mean, I would have had a hard time stifling a grin. He got right up there in court and said, Judge, every time I have an eczema outbreak, I just can't leave my ex-girlfriend alone. I'm thinking to myself, maybe she had some sort of medication that she would kind of daub his eczema with that made it go away. But to stand up there with his attorney, I can't believe the attorney actually, and he was a retained attorney. He wasn't a court appointed. I can't believe he paid $10,000 retainer to that attorney, and the attorney let him use that excuse. And the attorney had the straight face. I would have been like, but he got a sweetheart deal. 4 months in jail. I can't believe he told his attorney, this defense is going to work. And then the attorney agreeing. But Judge Tepe said, this is the 4th time you've been caught stalking your ex-girlfriend. And you were getting basically a month per stalking event. But since you turned down the 4, I'm going to teach you a lesson and give you 24. I don't think 24 was enough. I mean, the poor ex-girlfriend was afraid to even come to court. She did her testimony via Zoom, and they had her face kind of, at least for us to see. I'm sure the judge didn't have her face all fuzzed out. She was afraid to be anywhere within range of this guy. I think he should have got 48 myself. But 24 will do. Keep her safe for at least 24. By then, maybe she'll move somewhere, maybe even out of state. I have to look on the county map for Ohio. I can't remember where Warren County is in the state. I mean, Christ, we got 88 counties in this goddamn state. I mean, I know Lake, Cuyahoga, Lorraine. That's it. I don't know where Warren is. But I like that Judge Tepe or Tepe or whatever his name is, Tep. They've never pronounced it. You know, back when, and maybe some bailiffs do it, like Judge Simpson. I mean, his bailiff, J. Cedric Simpson. All you hear a lot is, you know, all rise, and the judge walks in and said, "Be seated." You don't hear the bailiffs go through the, you know, all rise, you know, the honorable judge, so and so. I remember when I was working at the courthouse, one of the judges, I can't remember his name, he made his bailiff start out, "Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye," you know, "The Honorable Fred J. Smith presiding," you know. I had never heard that before. I guess this judge really wanted to be formal. Because I was back in chambers one day filing some stuff for the judge, and I hear, you know, him get ready to enter court, his bailiff, "Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye," and that got my attention. Oh my God, I can't believe I got 2 bottles of this stuff. Oh God. Ugh. Pooey. Ugh. That was like tomorrow. I had an appointment with my oncologist. And Thursday, I have my 2 CT scans, one of them ordered by my oncologist. So I called the office this morning and I said, "Can we reschedule tomorrow's appointment?" And she says, "Why?" I said, "Well, I attempted to get the CT scan twice. Actually, 3 times. I said the first time, unfortunately, my car broke down, and then the other 2 times the machine was broke down." And she said, "Yeah, and?" I said, "Well, we're supposed to discuss the results of my CT scan. Why would I go in tomorrow and we not have the result?" She said, "That kind of makes sense. How about a week from tomorrow?" "Works for me." I'm going on almost a month, Kathy. It's over 3 weeks. And you would think in 3 weeks, I would get kind of accustomed to this shit. Nope. And this generic stuff, oh God, it's worse than the ocean spray. Man, you talk about bitter. I don't know what's worse, drinking this shit or chewing on a lemon and a lime at the same time. And I actually have a friend that will eat a lemon, like an orange. I don't know how she can. She'll peel it, slice it. I'm like, screw this. Oh, this generic stuff, but they were sold out. Naturally, they were sold out of. I bought it all because nobody else buys that shit. And I have to keep drinking this shit until further notice. That's good. I don't want to scare anybody. I don't know why. You know, every light that I have, all of these, when you shut them off, it has a memory. This light does not. And I don't know why. Because it's a pain in the ass to adjust all the time. But yeah, all of these lights, when I turn them off, they have a memory. I don't have to adjust the brightness up, down, up. This one, every time I turn it off, it goes to where you got warm light. It's got 3 different settings. Now, see, I have it on warm light. It goes to daylight. And daylight, full blood. And I've got 2 of these. And they're both the same. And I looked at the instructions, and it says memory. Neither one of these have a memory function. I don't understand. I pushed every button every which way. No memory. Maybe they're senior citizen lights on the verge of Alzheimer's. No memory. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm going to screw something up here. Oh, I better leave well enough alone. My goddamn mouse locked on the chat. And I can't be pushing. Oh, shit. Let me try this. Oh, okay. I didn't screw anything up. All of a sudden, I don't know why, my mouse pointer froze. right in the middle of the chat. I don't know why, because I didn't have it over there. Although I'll tell you, I cleaned this thing today. And man, is it sensitive. Holy shit. All I got to do is just touch it, and that pointer goes every which way. Yeah, now I clean it on a regular basis since I realized the reason it goes screwy is because it needs a cleaning. And it's amazing in a couple of days how much dust that eye in there picks up from that roller ball. But I really like that roller ball mouse. I really do. I'm glad it wasn't broken. I'm glad this oddball company that makes it actually had a website and they told me how to fix it. Because most of these oddball ones, they don't have a tech support. So did you get any more snow today, Kathy? Christ, we had another inch. I'm tired of cleaning snow off the car already. Then you can tell that Cleveland is having a problem. Well, they're rationing salt because they had to borrow money to buy salt. And I think on my street they dropped about 12 particles. The truck drives by, lights flashing. Then you look at the street and go, there ain't no salt out there. I got more salt in my driveway than they have on the streets. See, originally, this winter, they had a contract with a brining company because up in Canada, they don't use salt or cinders. They brine, and it works wonders. And Cleveland had negotiated a contract to brine. Well, then they couldn't come up with the money. And while they were fiddle fucking around with the brine company, they didn't realize that we didn't have enough salt to last the winter. And we ran out. Does it work as well as they say? Canada uses it on all their major throughways. Matter of fact, I don't know if they brine out at the airport or not. But from what I hear, it works like a miracle if it's applied right. Not to mention, you don't have the automobile decay like we have here in Cleveland. God, you can sit and watch a car rot away before your eyes. Of course, it doesn't help, when we get an inch of snow and they drop 7 inches of salt. But yeah, they had a deal worked out, and then it fell through. And I think part of the deal was connected with the state, and that deal fell through. But at least the freeways, well, that's different. State and city, the state got more salt than they know what to do with. I can't believe this mayor got reelected. I really, well, I know why. I'm not going to say anything, but I know why. Part of it is because he's Leon Bibb's son. And Leon Bibb was a big, news anchor here for years. So everybody's like, oh, we'll vote for him. Not that he had never run for any office before. Ran on his father's name, got elected, didn't do shit, got reelected again. Although that seems to be just about every mayor we've ever had in Cleveland. They get elected, they don't do shit. Then they get reelected. This city is just going. And they wonder why people are moving out. It's amazing the way this city was back in the 60s. We had well over 1 million residents. Why do people. Oh, hang on. Somebody's at the door. It's getting ridiculous. I'm going to put a sign up. After 7 p.m., don't bother ringing the bell or knocking. Gee, oh, what the hell was that? Golfo actually not only put a package in the milk chute, they rang the bell. It's amazing when you chew an outfit out how the service can get outstanding especially when they don't read English. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. As a matter of fact, I check my tracking first thing in the morning, and it said package delivered. And I looked at the time, and it was delivered at 9:05 p.m. And it was in the milk chute. Boy, it pays the bitch. I'll tell you what, ever since I called and I talked to their customer service, they must have really laid in to these delivery people. Because although, it does help when the delivery instructions say side door and then capitalized, not front porch. I guess they can read that. Unbelievable. I'm in shock. Although I wish he would have rang the bell last night, but hey, it was in the milk chute. Damn it. I wish I could shorten this wire. Get tangled up in my chair, get tangled up in my feet. There it is. I know what it is. I'm not going to bother opening it. It's nothing. I mean, it's something, but not something that, like me ordering more tap lights. I still don't know what I'm going to do with all these little things, but they're cool. Oh, my pain management doctor loved his sign. Absolutely loved it. Matter of fact, he showed me right where he's going to put it up in his office for everybody to see as soon as you walk in. Because when he came in, I handed it to him. And he took it out, we looked at it. He says, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And he put it back and handed it to me. And I said, "What are you giving me back for? That's for you." So he says, "On the way out, I'll show you where I'm going to put it." He showed it around to all the nurses. Look at this. Although him and I, going on 14 years. And I told him, you better not ever leave. Although he told me, every year he gets approached by either UH or the clinic. He said, I'm happy here. He said, it's 20 minutes from my house. I'm comfortable here. I said, yeah, but wouldn't you like a little more money? And he said, money isn't everything. He says, I've got the best patients. He said, I got a great staff. I've lived with what I'm making. Yeah, he said, everybody would like more money. But he said, you got to look at the whole picture, which I appreciate because I've had, what, 4 doctors bail on me? And like he said, that was another reason. He said, I know how patients hate new doctors because he said every new doctor that comes in wants to run every test in the book because they show the hospital, look, I'm making you money. Because he told me, he said, I technically could do an annual CT scan and an annual MRI. He says other doctors are doing it. I have access to every single test that you take. Why should I reorder it? That's a doctor I like. You don't find too many like that. I think my son's stereo is stuck on the same song. He keeps playing it over and over and over. I know right where your stereo is. Blow a hole right through it. The same thumping beat over and over and over. And he must be asleep. That's all I can figure because the song just keeps. It plays and it starts, and it plays and it starts. And it's the stupidest. Yeah. I mean, for an hour now, it's just been repeating over and over and over. That's why I figure he must fall asleep. And it's irritating as hell. That's almost as bad as the disc jockey. Oh, several years ago, got fired. Kathy, you remember the Christmas song with the barking dogs? They barked like to jingle bells or something. It was nothing but barking dogs. this disc jockey played that stupid song over and over for an hour. And so many people called the station and bitched. He got fired the next morning. He put it on a loop. And it just bark, 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 bark. Can you imagine listening to that shit for an hour? I couldn't listen to it till it played to the end. He thought it was funny. I hope he was laughing in the unemployment line. Because I don't think too many radio stations would hire him when he gave the reason why he got fired. I heard from my disc jockey buddy. He's going to another station. I can't remember the state. He was up in Washington. And he's been there for like 5 years. And now he's going to some station like in the middle of nowhere in Idaho. I'll have to reread the email. Because I replied and I said, why on earth are you going to go to a radio station in the middle of nowhere in Idaho? Although, like he answered back, I'm in the middle of nowhere in Washington State. They're paying me more money. And he's the one that's got the big motorhome. He literally lives out of a motorhome. I don't know where he finds a place where he can park it for a year. And he's got a Jeep Wrangler that he tows behind it. And that's how he goes to work. And he's done this, God, for over 50 years. Got a big honking motorhome. Jesus Christ, the thing got to be 40 foot. Big Provo. Although I'll tell you what, the way that thing is furnished, I wouldn't live in an apartment either. But he finds somewhere where he can park it for a year and live out of it. And he's been doing this. When the hell did he get his broadcast certificate? 75? I think he got his certificate in 75. And of course, he had a small motorhome, and now they get bigger and bigger and bigger. I didn't know that there were RV parks like that. But, yeah. He goes in and, parks the motor home and gets it set up and unhooks his Jeep off the trailer hitch and he's at home. Because, I mean, we have RV places in Ohio where you can leave your RV year round, but you can't commute. Because, like the one place my buddy's got his trailer, I believe, I want to say from the 1st of November until I think the 1st of May, you can't be in the park. The gates are locked. That's it. I wasn't aware there were places where you could literally put down roots for a year or 2 years or 3 years and live out of it like it was a house. Because when he bought this big Provo, I think he bought it 4 or 5 years ago. It was used. It was a couple years old. I think he paid like $300,000 for that. But like I say, every time he buys one, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. Although I don't think he can get one much bigger than the one he's got now. Because I asked him, I said, "Are you ever going to retire?" He was like, "Nah. As long as I keep getting radio jobs, I'll stick with it." Yeah, I think. What was he telling me? I think like the monthly rent, the one up in Washington State, was like 350 a month or 400. It wasn't much over that. And that includes electricity, and then they have a service that comes and dumps your waste tank and your gray water. Yeah, it is. You figure, let's just round it up and say $400 a month. Now, I don't know what his payment is on his motorhome, but even so, it is cheaper. Because I know most RV parks, you have to handle your own gray water and waste. But there's a service in at least the park up in Washington State. They come by weekly and take care of it for you. I'm going to get nosy and ask him what his monthly payment is. Although the one he traded in, oh God, I'm trying to think what the hell. It was like a 28 footer. I want to say Wander Lodge, but that might not be right. It was a bus. And it had like nothing on it for miles because once you park it, you're not driving it. And I know he got a good trade in price, but God, $300,000? But it works for him. He's single, he don't care. like he said, he comes home every night, and after dinner, he plans his script for the next day, what music he's going to play, and then takes his laptop to work and plugs it in. It's amazing, like when he started out back in the 70s, you know, that's when disc jockeys were carting around suitcases full of records. And you were constantly buying new albums, new 45s. Now you just download it into your laptop and bingo. Give him a lot of credit. He's stuck with it. He loves it. And like he said, you're on the air like 4 hours. Sometime you go home. Sometime you have public appearances you have to do. Sometime you got to stick around the station and go to meetings. But he said very rarely does he put in an 8-hour day. Works for him. Yeah, the station he's at in Washington State. Well, I told you about it. This the station is surrounded by a cow pasture. He comes in off the road, and it's like a quarter-mile back. And he said, all you see is cows. And then you get to the end of the road, and there's the station, the transmitter. Talk about a captive audience. I asked him, I said, do you have speakers outside so the cows can hear you? Yeah. He said, we always joke about the first time he pulled into that station. He got about a third of the way back in the road, turned around, went back out to the main road, looked at the map, went down to the corner gas station. Yeah, I'm looking for this radio station. The guy in the gas station said, well, you can't miss it. Go down the road here about a mile, you hang a left turn, and it's in the middle of a cow pasture. He looked at the guy and he goes, all right, what's the joke? And the guy said, no joke. Drive to the end of the road, you'll find it. And there it is. Cowland. And he said the riot is when the cows hear a vehicle pulling in or out of the driveway, they all come up to the fence. And they just look at him. Fred's leaving. Oh, look, a new vehicle. Yeah, he said when he goes to leave after work, he fires up the fires up the Jeep and starts down the driveway, and all the cows are at the fence. I said, why on God's green earth would you ever leave a job like that? I said, you have a story to tell. Well, I didn't see Flossie when I rode in today. She must not be feeling well. Cow number 426. Evidently, I didn't know that. I guess that's why when you drive down a country road and it's a cow pasture, all the cows are up front. You rarely see the cows way off in the pasture. They're all by the road, even laying down, looking. I can remember going out to my uncle's farm. If the cows weren't standing at the fence, they were laying by the fence, by the road, watching cars go by. And of course, as you drive by, you have to do the obligatory moo. And then the cows look and go, hey, there's a cow driving that car. We did it every single time. Drive down the road, come up on a cow pasture, moo. I don't know why people do that. I don't know why we did it. But people do it. They'll drive past a cow pasture and somebody has to moo at the cow. You still do? I suppose, Kathy, if I was driving past a cow pasture tomorrow, I'd do the same shit. I never barked at the dogs. But when we would come down the road, the windows would go down in the car and everybody in the car would moo at the cows. And then the cows, like, hey, there's a family of cows in that car. And there's a cow driving. How come we're not like that? Hey, where's TV tonight? TV2 usually pops in like right around now. Doesn't he? Yeah, because usually I'm ending the show at 8:30 and he pops in about 8:25. I'm still working on an intro for him. I have to figure out how he wants me, how we're going to record it so he can play it. Unless he's got some way of doing it, doing a sound capture of some sort. I'm going to have to email him, ask him how we're going to capture the intro once I get it down to where I think he wants it. I was really debating whether to do Grumpy Stern again tonight. Almost. I gave it a rest. But Grumpy Stern will be making regular appearances. Oh, did you? What do you think of what he does? He's kind of more on the news end. Have you noticed something, Kathy? Yeah, see, I don't like getting into politics because you can offend a lot of people. Yeah, and to me the stock market's boring, but some people get into it. He does have a following. I'll give him that. More of a following than I got. But, especially in today's world, politics is a very touchy subject. So I kind of stay every now and then I do go off the deep ends, but you don't notice anything missing. It's quite obvious I hurt some feelings tonight. But sometime I do like to report the news, especially something as serious as that. Now, I know why CBS didn't do it because CBS has got a new CEO and she don't know her ass from the hole in the ground. And I'll tell you what, people are bailing from that station like rats from a sinking ship. Because Anderson Cooper resigned from 60 Minutes because, she don't want no controversy. She's basically a Trump ass kisser. I can't remember her name, but she's never, basically, I don't know where they got her. She's never been involved in a news producing agency in her life. And she just, oh, she's screwing that station up something fierce. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, since she started the old censorship bullshit, people been bailing that station. CBS is really losing its credibility. I'll tell you what, some night, watch the CBS News. It is so bland. And they gloss over so many important news stories. You know, that's why this Lindsey Vonn didn't get covered. Oh, too controversial. Oh. Because I went back and looked at old news stories, and I didn't see anything about this piece of information. All they kept saying is, you know, she had multiple surgeries and so on and so on. I would think if she was that close to losing a leg, it would have been everywhere. And I didn't see it. Because originally, the Olympic team wanted to put her on a plane and fly her out right away. And that one, I think it was the head of orthopedics, told the Olympic team doctors, oh no, you can't do that. God, I think she was in surgery like maybe an hour after she arrived at the hospital. And as many doctors that looked at her didn't realize what was going on with her leg. And he just happened to come in and go, holy shit, get her into surgery now. She didn't even have time to say, can I think about it? It was like, here's the mask, nighty night. I don't know why that. I mean, the x ray was in JPEG format. It should have uploaded, and it didn't. I searched through all of my goddamn shit. I was like, where the hell's that x ray? I'm going to try to upload it again tomorrow. Anything in JPEG is open source. It should upload without a problem. It said it uploaded. I'm searching all the pictures. They ain't here. So I don't know where it got lost in computer land. But if I can get it to upload, tomorrow night it'll be right there. Oh, it's, like I said, it looks like they took plates and screws and just dumped a box full. I've seen plates and screws and legs. Holy shit. Her skiing career is kaput. She'll never get on a pair of skis again, even for recreation. She'll be lucky if she walks right. Because the last article I read, she hasn't been able to get out of bed yet. But she can thank those Italian doctors. When she fell and she immediately grabbed that leg, and there's hot mics up there on the ski slope. You could hear her. I mean, that poor girl was in agony. And then after seeing the x-rays, that explained it. But boy, I'll tell you what, that rescue team with that helicopter, boy, they were Johnny on the spot. I think they were saying within 15 minutes, they were literally loading her in the basket. And then she made the comment that the helicopter trip was well worth it. She enjoyed the helicopter trip. I don't think I would, hanging in a basket in the middle of nowhere. But well-trained rescue crews, I'll say that. Well-trained. Give that helicopter pilot 2 thumbs up, man. Because they said he didn't even let that chopper warm up. He fired that chopper up and he told everybody, let's go. We're going. And he gave it full throttle and up he went. Amazing. It's hard to believe they're over already. It was like, what was it, 3 weeks? I'm like, where did 3 weeks go? Although we did come in second in the medal count, right behind Norway. And did you notice, not only did the men's hockey team win the gold, the women's hockey team won the gold. And the men have not won in hockey since Salt Lake City, 2002. I was shocked to see that in the news this morning. Both hockey teams took the gold. Amazing. But they said the last time the men's hockey team won gold was Salt Lake City. Amazing. I can't remember what the total medal count was between gold, silver, and bronze. I want to say 31. I might be wrong. I looked at it first thing this morning, and the last thing I should do is look at anything first thing because both eyes aren't open yet. I stumble out of the bedroom, hit the bathroom, walk in, fire up the computer, grab a coffee pod, and make my coffee. I'm trying a new one. Never heard of this Kirkland. Focus. Kirkland Pacific Bold. Extra bold. That's what it came late this afternoon. I had already had my last cup of coffee, so tomorrow we'll see how extra bold is. And I have another one coming that'll be here, I think, Friday. I can't remember what that one is. This one was a deal. Because I usually get 24 pods for $13.99. This was 42 pods for $16.99. And free shipping. Considering, when you go into Mark's, you get 10 or 12 for like anywhere from $8.99 to $14.99. That ain't no deal. Yeah, I love my Keurig machine. Absolutely love it. Because it's a piping hot cup of coffee every single time. Because, when you use like a Mr. Coffee or any of the coffee pot, ones, after a while the burner shuts off and then the coffee goes cold and you microwave it, And there is a lot of waste in coffee grounds, and this way just pop in a pod. Although I keep forgetting to order that water pump. Because pretty soon I'm going to have to descale that machine. Although I do have the descaling kit. But it says basically if I use bottled water, I'll only have to descale it once a year. Where basically you got to do it like every 3 months. I'll know a red light comes on when it's time to descale. And then you got to do it right away because it won't let you make coffee. Oh my God. It nails you right. Oh, Jesus. It's like somebody sticking needles in the back of my jaw. Oh, God, that generic stuff is shit. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Well, you're late. The walking belly has just arrived. You're late. Now he's doing the in and out of my legs. All right, all right. Let me get the outro music and I'll go feed you, for Christ's sake. Like he can't miss a meal. All right, peoples. Been a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And we will meet again right here tomorrow night. The home of not one, but 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And we thank the Grumpy Jackalope for another appearance. All right. We will be here tomorrow night. And now the obligatory 2 see-yas per OBS. See ya number 1. And see ya number 2. Bye-bye.